Hello there. Welcome to the stream. How's it going tonight? Let me know if the audio is a little scuffed. I've been messing with my setup to no end. Reinstalling drivers, playing with this cloud lifter, you know how it be. But yeah, looks like everything's working. I don't know. Thanks for joining me today. I am going to be building another small keyboard at 40%, the JetVan. It's the minivan, but with a full-size space bar. I'm excited about this one. I think it'll be cool. But apologize for missing stream last week. My wife and I are selling our condo, buying a home, so we listed it last week on Monday and have had showings last week. And so I was not even allowed to be in here at the time, so I figured can't stream in that case. But having said that, yeah, I think it's just going to be a chill vibe. Should be a pretty short stream. I was looking over this build and it only has one stabilizer. So, you know, didn't bother doing it ahead of time. I'm actually also going to try the Holy mod, which is a mod that I've done for clients in the past. It's a stabilizer mod that uses band-aids. It's interesting. You'll see. It seems like it helps more on space bars than any other stabilizer because space bars tend to have a little more play, especially like because they're so long, they can be up to 7 units long. So we'll be futzing around with that a little bit, but yeah. Anyways, let's take a look at our components for the day. We are using Snow Whites. We've used these switches before on the RevWing 41, I believe. So another small board, but these are JWK linear switches that have been lubed with Cryotox 205 G0 and filmed with TX films. And then we'll be using Infinikey Amalfi switches, which are kind of like I think it's like an Italian villa, I want to say, that it's kind of themed after, but huge set. Obviously, you can see how full this is, but they have really good 40s support. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought they might look nice on this board. And then we are using the minivan keyboard from thekey.co or the Key Company. And technically this is the JetVan. It's not marked on the box, but this is the JetVan. I've already cracked the seal. Sorry, no true unboxing here, but I just wanted to look over it. We have this. I believe this is FR4, but it might be polycarb. Actually, now that I look at it, I think it is a polycarb plate. Got our PCB. This is not hot swap, but it is RGB, and this is a clear and not frosted case. So I think that'll look pretty good. With the clear case, I feel like you can get away with a lot of different stylings in terms of keycaps. So I think Amalfi will look great with it. And then this is a USB Type-C, which we do not need today, but it's nice of them to include it. Not every board comes with one. Let's see. So let's crack open this PCB first. So you can see the JetVan. I like the font on here. I think it's a cool looking board. Yeah. And then little USB-C port on the top right, which is a little bit more uncommon. Usually it's left, but fits right in there. You can see the badge on the back. The Key.Company, and it is the minivan badge, but the JetVan is just a difference in plate and PCB. Like I said, it doesn't support split spacebar like the minivan does, but it instead uses a single spacebar. So yeah, it's a cute little board. I'm excited about this. And we have our little plate as well. But as you can see, the backspace is 1.75 units. The enter, I believe, is 1.25, and the shift is 1.75, if I'm not mistaken, which would mean none of them need stabilizers, only the spacebar does. And I think this is a 6.25 spacebar. So single stabilizer today, which is, I believe, unprecedented. I've done weird variants of only 2 U stabs for like your Alice style or what have you, but yeah, I've never done a single stab. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've done a lot of streams, but I think I've never done a single stabilizer build. So let us prep our stab. All right, let's get this. In case you're wondering, I use this as like a sacrificial desk mat because I don't like getting lube on my on my nice desk mat. This, by the way, is the Alex Sotos. I think it's the, what's it called? Mirage or something like that. Let me check. I really like it. I just got it in recently. I got the dark and the light variant. It is desk mats. I have a database that I made of all my stuff. Let's see. Minified dark. Yeah, the Minified dark. I believe it's from Space Cables, in collab with Alex Sotos, which is really cool. They have a dark and a light version. So you can see here's the light version, dark version. So anyways, kind of cool. I like this desk pad, so I think it looks neat. Anyways, we'll be preparing our single stabilizer for this build. And like I said, I'm doing the Holy mod, which is one that I've done for clients in the past, but I will show exactly what that is. But let's get our kit of materials out. Wow. I have a stockpile of garbage under my desk that I always have to dig through. I believe this is going to be a 6.25 unit stabilizer, but let us verify. Those are all on this side. Yes, okay. So let's use a black wire with a smoky housing because I think that'll look the best. We need our left and our right, and then our stems. I just got another shipment of these in from Divinity of the Duroc V2s, which I'm very excited about. I'll probably also use these rings, and then some screws. I believe that's it from here. And then from this, we will take the 205G2, 205G0, brushes, holders, and the prop. And then I think that's all we need. Oh no, actually, if we are Holy modding, which I keep saying we will, we will need a band-aid for that, so. And then we'll get our tweezers and some scissors. Okay, this is a lot of garbage. Let's organize it a little bit. We don't need this for the time being. We just need these three. This guy here, this pair, this pair. That's for installation. That's for installation. Great. Okay, so the Holy mod is when you take a little piece of a cloth band-aid like this, and you cut it into a really thin strip and insert it into the stabilizer stem, such that it wraps around the front. So it's in the top here and it wraps around to the bottom. And what this does is it cushions the end of the stabilizer wire a little bit as it moves up and down inside the stabilizer, and it makes it sound a decent bit better. It's weird. It's a weird mod in the sense that it requires a little bit of break-in, in my opinion. Also, this is kind of looking blown out. Let's see if this works. That did not help at all. That's fine. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird mod, but I think it helps, like I said, on the longer stabilizers. So we'll be doing that today. So let's start with that actually. Let me actually, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some paper towels because it tends to get messy when you're working on this stuff. All right, I'm back. Sorry, y'all. I also had some of my neighbors wanted to see the renovations we did on our condo before we sold it. So my wife was kind of showing them what all we did. But anyways, we're gonna take a little strip of this Band-Aid. I'll punch in just a touch so you can kind of see what's going on. And usually I've found that on these types of Band-Aids, man, that's really blown out. That's unfortunate. You can tend to just cut the width of them. So I'll show you what I mean. So that should be wide enough and long enough to do one of them. I think that one might be a little thin. So we'll go for another attempt on that one. There we go. Okay. So those are what we will be putting in the let's check, inside these stem housings. So let's pull the this is kind of the frustrating part of this mod is peeling off this the backing, and you could peel it off first before you try this, but I've found that when it's really sticky, it tends to be even harder to manipulate. So may need a second set of tweezers to This is frustrating. I apologize. But you know, watching me sweat and struggle and wonder why I'm even doing this is part of the charm, right? That's like the only mood you would come to the stream for. Okay, so I have this piece separated, and then all you do is you insert it. What I like to do is I like to pull it through the bottom of the housing, so that I can kind of loop it around the top. I apologize for how hard this is to see, but I'm grabbing it with my tweezers and I'm pulling it through the bottom. And there I pulled it all the way through because it wouldn't come off my tweezers. But I like to insert the tweezers through the bottom of the stem, grab onto the Band-Aid, and then pull it part way through so that I kind of have it threaded through a little bit there. There's videos on YouTube that show exactly how to do this much better than I am showing right now. And I recommend you watch those. I may make one at some point where I'm actually like providing a good demonstration of the way that it works, but for now, I think it looks a little bit better zoomed out than it does blown out. So then you just loop this top part through. Really, so the wire doesn't actually enter the top part of the stem, so it doesn't really matter how far in it goes, but just enough that it doesn't detach at some point. That's the goal here. So, and then just cut it short. Maybe cut it a little bit shorter than that, but all right. And that is how you do the holy mod. It yeah, we'll see how it sounds on this board. You know, the acoustics of this board are, I don't know, questionable at best, I would say. I mean, not that they're bad. It's just this isn't a gasket mounted board. This is a tray mount with a, you know, it's plastic, so it's not going to be your super high end sounds like I don't know, like a 7V or something where it just the sound is on point. But I mean, it's not like you really expect it to be. I'm just trying to reduce some of the clickiness of a full-size spacebar. So I think this is the move. Okay. Okay, so I've grabbed it here. I'm gonna pull it through. We're gonna hopefully detach it. There we go. And then this time I think, yeah, there we go. We'll make sure I do a better job of it not being too long on the other side. Anyways, this is probably going to be the most boring part of the stream, so hopefully when this is done, they'll all be, I don't know, at least easier to see, you know, that's the goal. I need to figure out, so there, I think on this camera up above, there's some setting that makes it do an auto exposure, because you can see these keycaps. Whenever I put this black mat down, the keycaps just get destroyed because I think it's compensating for how dark the mat is. So either I need to get like a gray mat, or you know, I've combed through the settings multiple times on this thing trying to figure out why exactly it does that, but I couldn't tell you. So now let's go ahead and apply the lube to the inside of the housings like such. We'll do this for both sides. This is Cryotox 205 grade 0, which is, as we discussed before, the least viscous of the Cryotox blends of the 205 series, which is ideal, but it also does not dry in the air, which is the important part, since it's a grease, versus some other things that will over time dry out, leading to kind of sluggish or gummy feeling stabilizers. So we just lube the outside of this housing. Insert such that the two-hold side is towards the front, which I almost just did backwards. Oh, actually, before that, I need to use the syringe to apply the 205 grade 2, which is the more viscous and will help with taking up all of the space that the wire needs. We'll just squeeze some in here. And then we'll go ahead and insert it. And then we will brush a little bit of, actually, I think I'll use grade 2 as well here. Right in this little crevice where the wire goes, and then insert the wire. There we go. There's half of it. So for the other half, same thing. Grab the stem, lube the outside, insert some 205 grade 2, install it with the two holes facing the opening. Put a little grade 2 in this little crevice where the wire snaps in. And then install our wire. There we go. That is a wholly modded 6.25 unit stabilizer. We are actually done with lube now. So put this away. The other thing that I will do is put some Band-Aid down on the PCB, which also helps reduce a little bit of that noise. So let's do that right now. I usually would use tape, but since we already have the Band-Aid out, I figured go ahead and do that. Let's see if we can get away with not wasting more Band-Aid than I need. Oh, actually, we have so much. Yeah, we'll just do that. And again, these will be frustrating to deback, but hopefully we can get that done quick. Here we go. All right. Get that little guy down. I think the tips of my tweezers are starting to like diverge a bit, which makes gripping things a little bit harder. To bend them back, but there we go. Okay, those are installed. Now we just need to install the stabilizers themselves. So I use these little O-rings on the underside where the screw goes, because if the screw is over tightened and it shaves off this top protective layer of the FR4, it can cause a short if it clamps down a little bit too hard on the PCB. It's just a precaution. I mean, for years, stabilizers did not come with those, but it's been more of a thing lately, and so it's kind of, you know, might as well take one extra step to protect the keyboard long term, because it could be a latent failure. It wouldn't necessarily be immediate if it's kind of due to vibration or some other reason that causes it to wear through eventually. So then after that, we are going to test this switch. We'll put a plate, we'll suspend the plate and some switches on, see how it sounds. All right, so this stuff I'm done with. Let's get this all out of here. All right, our O-rings and our screws. Okay, so let's take this mat out of here just so that our exposure is not absolutely disgusting. That looks a lot better, I think. Don't you? Okay, so here's our PCB. We have, let's see. I also like that they labeled the switches, but I think it's funny they labeled it on the top. Typically, I care more when I'm looking at it from underneath, when I'm wondering what switch is this, because, you know, everything's backwards. But I guess it also does help for actually installing the caps. But then again, you know, if you're installing the caps, you've installed the switches, so you wouldn't be able to see that anyway. So I don't know. It's a cute touch, but I don't know that it's a helpful one. You know, I'm not really sure, but anyways, it's cool. I will just pop in these switches real quick, or a couple. I'll do a couple, like maybe what I would consider load-bearing switches, just to make sure that everything's aligned, and then I'll test out the space bar. Worth noting, the bottom row are north-facing, and the top row are south-facing. So if you are doing like, it doesn't even support per key RGB, but if you have switches that collide, you know, differently, just be aware of that. And as I say that, I install a switch backwards, but you know. Okay. I think that's enough switches to at least test the spacebar. Provided none of them are bent like these look like they are. No? I just need to install it level. There we go. Okay. So here's our polycarbonate plate with the FR4 kind of sandwich. It's nice and stable, so we will be able to get, I think, a good feel for how the spacebar is going to feel. So let's grab one out of this Amalfi keycap set from Infinikey. Let's see, is this a 6.25? Yes, it is. Great. That feels good to me. I definitely can tell. It's not clicky at all, but it may need just a touch of break-in, just with that mod, you know, with the stem wire, or the stab wire, pardon, you know, kind of rubbing over the Band-Aid in there. It could get a little bit weird, but it's fine. I'm not mad about it at all. I like it. Okay. That is also, by the way, I think ratio of like number of keycaps to number of switches, this is the biggest disparity. I am going to be sorting through a lot of keycaps when I install them. Mercy. But that's all right. This is a solder board. It is not a hot swap. The minivan, if you get that variant, is hot swappable, but the JetVan is not. The minivan is the one that supports the split space bar, which personally I like better, but I was kind of thinking, you know, between the two, I like soldering a lot as well. So I picked the JetVan. Also, it's compatible with way more sets of keycaps, just by virtue of the fact that it doesn't have a split space bar, but I don't know. We'll see. It's very adorable though. I do like this little guy. And I mean, I know I talked about how it's no 7B, right? Or any of those, the Fiel or you know, but I don't know. I think it'll sound decent. I think it'll sound pretty good. We can also do an O-ring mod, which is where you install O-rings between the case. So you basically just put an O-ring on the screw, put the screw through the PCB, put an O-ring on the other side, and then just slightly tension it so that the only thing holding it up is the O-ring. But I don't have my O-rings yet. I ordered some online, and you know, shipping takes a while in the keyboard community, so you never know. I should actually check that real quick to see if they've been delivered. So at my condo, they are currently redoing all of the asphalt. So it's been, they ripped out the mailboxes and they put them over on the side by the entrance. But a lot of packages have not. It's like, I'll just get the notice that like, we tried to deliver your package, but we couldn't. And I think it's just that sometimes the delivery person doesn't know where to find the mailbox, and they're just like, and also you can't even get up to my condo because they've torn up the driveway. And yeah, I don't know. It's a whole mess. So I've had a lot of delayed shipments, but you know, let me check my shipping notice. And if I actually have gotten my O-rings in and they're just in my mailbox, which I didn't check today, I might try to O-ring mod this like right off the bat, which would be interesting. But if I am going to O-ring mod this, I might need to get that done before soldering. So once I get these switches snapped in, I will check that and I will let you know. And I will, if they are there, we'll do a speed run out to my mailbox and back. You don't know how far that is, so you'll have no way of knowing how fast I'm going, but trust me, I'll be faster than a kid in light up shoes, which I believe is the fastest humans can travel. It's when you're wearing light up shoes. All right, let me check my receipts. Orders. Out for delivery. Interesting. I don't know what that means, but it's not confirming that they are here, so. Heh, looks like I got out of exercising. Okay, every switch appears to be installed correctly. I don't see any. Oh, I do see a bent pin. Let's get that guy out of here. Put in a new one. Or fix the pin, more likely. This the tolerances on this PCB feel really good. I do like how well it grips the switches, but I can still pop them out with relative ease, which I think is a nice spot to be. So I love polycarbonate plates. I know I've talked about that a lot, but I think they're awesome. Okay, great. Every switch appears to be installed correctly. I'm sure I will encounter something that is not, that I didn't notice, but having said that, let's get out the old soldering iron. Oh. All right, so I'm gonna get the soldering fan, but also have this start heating up. Fume extractor, which, check this out. I tied it to this little, maybe you can see the fan. Look at that, a little Pico Lutron, excuse me, Lutron remote. Oh. All right. So now we're heating that up. Let's pull some solder in. Should be a quick little solder up. Here's something very important about soldering, by the way. I see this all the time in the keyboard community where it's lots of people who never like formally learned how to solder. Nothing wrong with it. Not hating, but the goal of soldering is not to melt the solder onto the tip of the iron and then transfer that. It's to heat up the thing you're soldering such that the solder melts onto it. Otherwise, you run the risk of what's called a cold solder joint, which is where the thing that you were soldering to never really got hot enough to fuse correctly, so it could just break off at some point because it's not actually attached. It's more just like almost resting on the PCB or the wire or whatever it is that you're soldering. So I see so many people soldering by just like holding they'll like, sometimes even before they make contact with a wire, they will touch, or the thing that they're soldering, they will touch the solder to the iron and then just kind of like smack a blob of solder onto the PCB, which granted most times will work, but the times that it doesn't, it's annoying. So I don't know. Just if you are out there and you make keyboards, just a tip for you there. Heat up the stem or the leg of the switch and the ring on the PCB. Now, obviously, you don't want to just like smack your iron down on the pad because you could lift a pad. Oh, hey. What's up, Caitlin? Thank you. I like this desk pad as well. But yeah, you could overheat the pad on the PCB and then detach it, which is really bad. It's hard to recover from that. I mean, you can, especially on a keyboard, there's things you can do with wrapping wire and making little jumps and stuff, but I don't know. So don't just like let the iron sit for too long, but also you're not transferring a molten blob of solder. You're melting the solder to the thing. Anyways, just a little pet peeve. I feel like I've been very unprepared for the stream just because I had to take my whole streaming setup down for the condo showings and then try to figure out what I wanted to bother bringing back up, because believe it or not, my desk is very messy. And there was a lot of stuff that I took off of it before we did any showings. So anyways, I'm sure there'll be something that I need at some point. Well, I guess there already was, right? I was missing paper towels. Caitlin, is Drew making you watch the stream today? I'm sure watching a dude on the internet soldering is your favorite pastime. I appreciate the support. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm honored. Thank you. Well, this is an adorable little keyboard, and I'm very excited about it. I think it'll be super fun. And I bet the RGB effects will look nice on the I'm not a huge RGB fan, but I think they'll look nice with this desk mat. Also, I'm just realizing as I'm soldering in the last switch that we didn't test this PCB. So, you know, it may not work at all. Let's find out. Reel back in my solder. Also need to flip it. There we go. I have this frame that holds up my cameras and lights, or my camera and lights, that I attach my solder to, but it okay, let's pull it via, and we'll test the switches with that. So let's pop over to the switch testing scene. Now, I don't know if this board is via compatible, but that doesn't matter. We can still use the key tester to identify how it's already been programmed. Okay, so top row is alpha keys, tab, and backspace. They all seem to work. Bottom row is interesting. There's some weird stuff going on there. I think I'm hitting a function key. Yes. Okay, so that this key appears to be function when held. And quotation marks when tapped quickly. That's a little odd. But okay. And this is escape instead of caps lock. And then this is not doing anything. That also might be a function key though. Oh, yep, I just turned up my volume, so. Yes. Okay, so this is a function key that lets you get to the numbers. So this may not be a function key at all. This may just be a slightly faulty switch? Question mark. We'll investigate that. Oh, it just reset. Let's reboot it. Something weird is going on with this keyboard, and I'm not entirely sure what. Space works. B. Control Alt B. Why B? All right. Well, I think every key in the matrix works. In fact, we can... oh, actually, if it's not VIA compatible, we cannot set the matrix view. But... oh, I bet I'm hitting reset. Let's do this. Let's pull up QMK configurator and see if they have a JetVan entry. QMK configurator. And also let's pull in a secondary USB cable so I can have both of these plugged in at the same time. All right. And then let's take a peek at our boy. Let's see if JetVan. Yes, it is. So here we have the... This is a bad looking key map. Interesting. Something wrong with QMK configurator. Let's try a different board. Nope. Okay, well. Something is weird with this layout. Obviously, I mean, you can see that it's very strange, but I think whatever's going on, we can try to figure out JetVan default layout. It was printed on the PCB, so this should be relatively easy to figure out, but here we go. Here's the PCB. So enter should be this key, and then function should be down here. So if we go back to our switch hitter, this is actually doing function up is volume down for some reason. Okay, well, and then this is not enter. This is a sporadically triggering quotation mark. This is bizarre. Let's look at it seems to be on a PCB level because triggering it with tweezers does the same thing. I'm very confused, but it's okay. Let's see. Okay. We'll just roll with it for now, shall we? Because I think we should still be able to type and do everything we need to do on this board. So, yeah, let's toss the case into the board. I believe, now did this come with feet? It has little holes as if it did, but I don't know that it does. Let's check. I have these optional accessories, but I don't think feet were among them. So if we kind of, it is a bit of a tight fit. All right, I think that's in. And then we just need to insert the screws. And does this still work? Yes, it does. And it lights up. Cute. Okay. All right. Well, that's good enough for me. I think we'll just roll with it. And I can always figure out how to reprogram it later. Because obviously it is compatible with QMK. If there's a configurator entry for it, it just needs a little bit of attention. So we'll attach these I believe there's 6 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Nice. I don't know that this would have been a good candidate for an O-ring mod anyways, just due to how tight the tolerances are between the plate and the case. But that is all right. Okay, I think that's all the screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. And then we'll put the little rubber feet on. This is probably a record-breaking keyboard in terms of speed, which is kind of nice because it's been, you can't tell by my off-the-charts energy levels. It has been a rather long day, but happy to be here. But man, 56 minutes in and we're just about ready to put on the keycaps, which that's cruising. And we had to solder in this build too. Now, to be fair, the next few builds are all through-hole builds, which are very time-consuming. So I will certainly be making up for it. But all right, great. Got this installed. Let's pull up. This still all seems to work. Oh, sorry, you can't see this. Here you go. That is Windows. Strangely, it appears to not, this key appears to not work. But it is soldered in. And it was doing B last time. I think this keyboard's haunted, frankly. But and that's weird. It's like half F row, half number row. What on earth? This is bizarre. But I think it should be typable. That's the key here, is that should be able to at least get a speed test out of it, or a sound test rather. So, having said that, let me get this little soldering guy out of here. And we can proceed with the chaos, which is specifically me dumping a huge pile of keycaps onto my desk and then sorting through them painstakingly. So get ready. Oh my gosh, this is huge. Okay, so right off the bat, we can eliminate a lot of keycaps because we just need, let's see, this would not be correct. Coast, that's adorable. I don't think we'll be using the escape row height escape key. Also, sorry, let me pop it back over to that scene. All right. No lock, no F row. Okay, so here we go. So this is, W is right here. That's a little bit weird. And F is right here. Oh, we do have arrow keys though, which is cool. So we'll have a right arrow down here. We'll have a colon quotation, I believe, right here. No numbers even. I'm getting really lucky. GHJ on the ones that I'm pulling. No full-size shift. Okay, so spacebar, we will have a choice. I believe there are 3 colors of spacebars in this set. I think there's the pink and the white and the pink, white, and blue. So we'll get to pick one. These are not relevant. So many keys that we won't be using. I almost feel bad though, because I feel like, you know, you'd almost want to do another set, but you're pretty much only taking out the alphas, you know? I actually don't see any other space bars. Well, this does have split space, which is really cool, but yeah. So if you think you have a preference between the pink and the blue, or like it's kind of like a salmon, the salmon and the blue space bar, let me know. I'm not sure which one I'd like at this point. Let's see. Looking for a shift key that's pretty small. Oh, here's the tiny tab. That's adorable. I love it. Also looking for a tiny 1U Windows key to replace that alt. That is not actually an alt. There's my down arrow. There's my X. We also have pink arrow keys, or like the salmon color. We'll keep those out too. I think we have a lot of options in terms of what color we can do, like enters and spaces and things like that. So no brackets on this guy either. It's the scooped homing S. There is no plus equals on this. What am I thinking? This is a slightly too small. We do need a tiny enter, actually. Yeah, but I think this is a touch too big, sadly. Is there another tiny enter that was the right size? We'll go back through this if we run out. These keys, they are there. Be here. U goes here. I do think this is a really pretty set. I'm curious what the, once I get it fully installed, the quality control is sometimes iffy on InfiniKey sets in terms of the legends being printed correctly. Like sometimes some are a little higher than others, and yeah, I don't know. We'll just see. I hope that they all look great, but yeah. I know the Islander specifically had some issues with that, but I don't know. We'll see. Aha! I believe that is the shift key that we needed. Not that we deserved, but that we needed. G. I think I am off one here. A, S, D, F, G. Yes, I am. G. And then H goes right here. There we go. C, X, C, V. Here's kind of our substitute enter for now, I suppose. Aha! Here is an enter option. And I'm guessing there's another one around here somewhere. Here's an A. There's a surprising number of completely blank keys in here. But I suppose it's helpful if you're trying to do something interesting. Like maybe an ortho build, potentially. I know those tend to have a lot of blank keys in them, but I'm hoping that's an O and not a 0. We'll find out. Coast. There's a lot of these that say coast. So I'm wondering if it's the only like novelty modifier that they have. Is it B? I do typically vet these kits just to make sure that they'll at least work at all. But usually I don't remember like fully. We do need a backspace, don't we? But it's kind of a short one. So it's a little bit longer than this. May have already thrown it away. It's looking like that may be the case, so we might have to go fishing. That's a bummer. Oh well. D. There's another B. I know that's pretty typical too, because people tend to use B as like a space key, which I think is interesting because I do not do that personally. Command, escape. Oh, that's interesting. Might actually swap that out. So the question is, do we want to introduce the pink at all? Because I suppose you could get away completely without it, right? Like we could use none of it. I also don't know if I want to do that. JKL. What am I missing? The I? Did I really throw that in here? Okay, so I have my alternative modifiers. Here's the alternative escape. So I think I need to go fishing again, don't I? Unless I'm just straight up missing it. I'm also missing a Z. And let's see, I'm looking for Windows potentially as a mod down here. Let's just put option in. All right, and then let's, this is lame. I'm still looking for that backspace too. Because I know this kit has a compatible backspace. Is it this? I think that's a bit too big. That's a mod. That's not a backspace. Drill to you. Here's a backspace. Perfect. Let's take it. Okay. Got our backspace. We also need an up arrow. And why do we have an extra left arrow? That's kind of odd. Huh. I'm confused. Okay. Let's just put a spacebar on for now. And we're also on the hunt for Z or Z if you're Canadian. Here it is. We got our Z. We need the I. I probably thought it was a 1, actually. And just ignored it. Also, because these are dye sublimation keycaps, they are all white on the bottom, despite the fact that many of them are blue. Great. Now we just need a tiny enter key, which we have options. We have this little teal one, or this little salmon one, and probably a little blue one that matches, I would imagine. Be surprised if they didn't include a blue variant as well. But I kind of like this look, actually. Little blue, little pink, and maybe let's go with the, is this a different form? Maybe let's go with the white arrow keys, just to kind of tie in like the white mods around the outside. That looks actually a lot worse. Swap that back out. Maybe even with this escape. Oh, it's too tall. Need something in between. We also are missing the up arrow, aren't we? Which would be a white keycap. I'm telling you, I need to start pre-kitting these, you know, like sift through them before stream. I feel like I talk a lot on my stream about the things that I can do to improve it, and then I absolutely never implement a single thing. That's going to be my hook, you know. You keep coming back to stream to see if I've improved it, but it'll be there forever. The potential will be there forever. Maybe this week he will pre-lube some stabilizers. Nope. Let's see. Okay, I feel like we need to like Dora the Explorer this thing, you know? Do you see the up arrow? Because I'm seeing a left arrow. And unless I have a keycap on backwards, which I don't believe I do, it needs to look like this, but white. I mean, I suppose we could use this one, but I feel like that looks weird. There is one upside down keycap in here, but that's an alt. We're also looking for function, so just an FN, or really it could be anything that we feel like. But I'm guessing there's an FN in this set. Oh, here's the up arrow. Nice. And here's a function right next to it. Nice. Any other escape keys? I'm thinking I'm just going to go with this one, because that seems to be the best. Great. And then, let's see. With all of these put away, which spacebar appeals? You know, I'm thinking between the two, I'm thinking the salmon. I don't know. I just think it makes the board look a little bit more interesting. We'll go with that. All right, let's pop it in to our key tester. One thing about this board is that it is very, very light. That's kind of surprising. Uh-oh. Y'all see that? I think I froze. Hold on. Well, now. Hey, we're back. Don't worry about it. Nothing wrong. Nothing ever goes wrong here, you know? All right, so if we pull up via one last time, just to do, you know, maybe what I would consider a sanity check. Alphas are working. This is not enter, but that's fine. Function key does get me to this upper row, which is good. Arrow keys are not arrow keys. They are a bunch of random nonsense. B, Alt, C. Escape for some reason and tab are swapped. I have no idea what's going on in the firmware on this board. This is crazy. I've never seen anything like this. However, you know what I'm guessing, frankly, is that the that they flashed the minivan firmware on the JetVan PCB. I'm guessing that's what it is, and the connections are just a tiny bit different. But what that doesn't... Oh my goodness, I'm clipping. I'm sorry. Let me turn my mic down a little bit. But, well, oh, okay, there we go. But what that doesn't do is prevent us from doing a sound test. So let's do that. Let's pull up monkey type. Let's position this. Okay, this is the JetVan from the Key Company with JWK Snow Whites and Infinity Amalfi keycaps. Oh my word. What is this board doing? Hold on. It's hitting F row keys while I'm typing. Okay, hang on. Something needs to be fixed here. There's obviously something critically wrong with the firmware on this keyboard. So let's do this. Let us try throwing caution to the wind. I can't even type on it. QMK configurator. Oh, mercy. Let's see. I've never received a board this scuffed, and I sincerely think that it is the firmware. Keyboards. JetVan. Interesting. Here, check this out. So I'm on qmk.thevankeyboards.com, and they have a default firmware where tapping does nothing on the tab key, which is escape normally, and then holding goes to layer 1, which it does not do. Let's see. Does it work with shift? No. And then these keys, the function key is layer 2, which does appear to be the case, actually. Yes, that's working. But the other one is not. It's just B for some reason. Maybe that's because it thinks it's on a Mac. And then this arrow key goes to layer 3, which does not actually work. But this is appearing to be consistent on the right side, where if you tap the quote unquote enter key. Okay. So interesting. So the firmware is just very strange. Which explains a lot. However, what's odd is that I cannot type. Like if I try typing. Oh, maybe it's working now. It must have been on a layer. Let's try it again. This is so weird. I need to figure out how to reprogram this, and I believe that this qmk.thevandkeyboards.com is the means to doing that. But let's see. We'll do that off stream. Let's try to do a sound test. All right. That ain't too bad. I don't mind it. Hey, what's up? Good to see you, Austin. Yo, this firmware, if you didn't catch that, is very weird. And I think it's made for a Mac, and I need to reflash it, but you know, it is what it is. What this doesn't tell me, actually, though, is how to change the LEDs. I think if I hold this function key and Z, that's LED step. Whatever that does. That doesn't seem to work. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I'll figure out how to control the LEDs as well, but yeah, I don't know, man. This is just a weird little firmware. So I guess to wrap up my thoughts on this board, I want to preface this by saying I acknowledge that this is like a budget board, right? This is not, what was this? I believe the kit was $120 shipped. Throw in a $3 stabilizer and, 40-70 cent switches, and you're probably looking at, in fact, I can tell you what you're looking at. JetVan with Snow Whites. I mean, you're under $150 before keycaps. So frankly, I don't really know that, your expectations should be through the roof. However, I will say, it's kind of frustrating when the keyboard ships with very strange firmware that's not really documented. There were no instructions in the box. There were no instructions in the packaging that the box was in. So if I were a first-time keyboard builder, which is more than likely the case for something like this. Now, to be fair, I don't know that this layout attracts a lot of first-time keyboard builders, right? It's more of an enthusiast, like, small layout, but the flip side being, if you are an enthusiast, it'd be nice if it was like VA compatible, so I could easily remap it and not have to worry about, like, why is this thinking it's a Mac? Why can't I even type on the alphas? I don't know. I guess all that to say, I'm not super pleased with the firmware experience on this. Obviously, I can reflash it with QMK Configurator and QMK Toolbox. I'll need to figure out exactly how to hit the reset switch, which does not appear to be accessible. Oh, no, it is. It is. Although, fun fact, it's not actually soldered onto this PCB. So while there is a hole in the case for it, they did not load that component. So let me show you what I mean. Let me unplug this so that it's not blinding you either. Okay, so see this hole in the underside of the PCB? And see those 4 silver pads? There's 2 on each side. That is where a switch would have gone. And I'm like 99% sure there just isn't one. Let me poke with a tweezer and see if I hear anything. Yeah, no, that's not a hole. So no, there's just no switch there. They clearly, the solder mask the stencil was still open, so they applied a solder paste. It went through the oven, melted it, but there was just no component. So that seems kind of sloppy to me that there is no switch. I'm guessing I could figure out a key combination to reset. There probably is one in this, in this default firmware here. One of these is presumably going to be reset. I actually don't know. I think I was resetting it earlier. Oh yeah, it's this bottom corner. So I could hold function and right arrow. But still, I don't know. It's like, how are you going to not load a component on here? I don't know. Yeah, frankly, I don't know that I would necessarily recommend this. There's more and more 40% keyboards coming out. It seems to be like a growing subsection of the keyboard community. So, there's gonna be boards out there for you. So I don't know. Like, again, I can't really be too critical given the price relative to the competition, but I think you're starting to be able to do that due to all of the really great budget boards that are coming out. I don't know. This is starting to veer into the "this ain't it, chief" kind of territory for me, and I'm not. I don't know. I'm not. Another thing that happened was the tolerance on the plate. Now the switch's tolerance in the plate was great, but the plate was just a little bit oversized, and it doesn't fit very well into the actual case. So you can see it kind of scuffed the side a little bit as it slid in. Let me see if I can focus on that. You can see right there, those are internal scratch marks. Obviously, you'll probably not be looking at them very much, but I think it'd be cool if it didn't do that. So I don't know. It's also very light, which no problem. Like if this would be a great travel keyboard. Like if I wanted to bring it with me and type on it, like instead of my laptop keyboard, that would be cool. But it's also not Bluetooth, which is fine. But I feel like when I think travel keyboard, I tend to think Bluetooth. So I don't really know. I mean, I think this is a cool product, but I don't know that the landing was stuck, if you know what I mean. I think that there's just enough weird little things about it that just make me not want to recommend it. And let me look at all the 40% boards that I've built. Let's see. I haven't built many, but like the Prime E, that's an Alice style 40%. Great board. Prime KB does great work. The PCB was great. The case was excellent that I got from P3D. That's a great option. The RevWing 41 was really fun, kind of like columnar Alice style. Also the one that I just recently built, the Mercutio by who does Mercutio? MechWild. That's a great board. Little tiny board, FR4 style, sounds just as good, frankly, and it has an encoder and a little OLED screen. Good board. I'd definitely recommend those over this, just in terms of support and quality. But as far as boards that actually come with a case, because all of those are either a FR4 sandwich or stacked acrylic, this is the only one that I know of until the Whimsy comes out, which will be more expensive. I think it's about $230 for the base kit, and then you still got to get, probably 1 or 2 stabilizers as well as your switches and keycaps. So, it'll add up. But I'd say save your money and buy that when that goes into group buy. Now, I could be eating my words in 6 months if that is a disaster, but it just looks like so much more thought has gone into that one. And in consideration. I also wonder if part of the reason that this is kind of scuffed is because it's the JetVan, which like definitely plays second fiddle to the minivan, which is like the primary board in the 40% range that the key company is trying to release. I don't know. Frankly, I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, I don't know. It's fine. That's my take. It's fine. I will off stream, put some effort in, try to figure out the firmware, try to flash it with something more reasonable, something more usable. I'll maybe circle back to this if I have any, residual thoughts later. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of a strange board, and kind of a strange experience. But in terms of 40% with a case, so far this is probably the primary option people are going to think of. It also comes in, I believe, white and black solid, and not the clear, and I think like a smoked rather than like a clear. I maybe would get a black one or a white one in the future, just because I don't think these RGB effects look very good with just how spotty they are. You can see it's like not smooth at all. It's just splotch after splotch around the rim. But that's pretty common with underlit keyboards like this. I mean, there's just not a lot you can do other than putting an insane amount of LEDs on the bottom to kind of smooth that out, which takes a lot of power and isn't a great thing always. So yeah, anyways, that's my the JetVan stream. Thank you for watching. Let's see what we got on the docket. I have a couple builds coming up that are already kind of locked in date wise, provided my shipments come in. I have a client build of a nibble, which is a really cool through hole style 65% board for my boy Kyle, as well as a macro pad for him. So that'll be a fun kind of double feature to do both. That'll probably be a longer stream. I'm supposed to get that in on July 10th or 11th, which means that the stream would probably be on the 12th. That would be great if that happened, because he's passing through town and I'd be able to throw the keyboard through the window as he drives by. The other things that I have coming up that that reminds me, speaking of having received shipments for, RamaWorks, apparently the whole delay was that they were waiting on the internal dampers and weights. Those were stuck like in Australia, but at a port, and so they're not even going to get them until like, I don't know, end of July possibly. So they just shipped out all the cars, or they are shipping out all the cars. So it's possible that I will actually get my Rama Kara in soon, which is exciting. I'm debating whether I even want to build it until I get the internal damper, because I kind of want to give it like the best case scenario. Not that I have no faith in it. I have plenty of faith in it. I just think that I think an internal damper would sound good with it. So we'll see. Let's see. The other thing I have are, I've got a Discipline, which is a cool through hole 65% board as well, with a case from keys.io, which is a pretty cool deal. And then I got a bunch of maintenance streams. I'd be curious, to those of you either watching here on Twitch or on YouTube, if you're interested in watching something like that, where I, like for instance, this board here is a Tofu, and I want to take it apart and put O-rings on the screws, maybe do some stabilizer tuning, possibly even swap out the switches entirely, but just doing maintenance on boards that are already mine. If you're interested in something like that, I'd be curious. Also, yeah, rebuilding some boards that the switches are really bad, or something like that. Let's see, I have a basket weave that's on the docket, which is a through hole, another through hole, so it's 3. That's Alice style, which I'm really excited about, putting some alpacas in that guy. And then the board I've been teasing since the very first stream, I think, which is the big old DOS Keyboard Pro 4, but that one's a lot of work because I need to 3D print parts in resin for the stabilizers, because they're CoStar stabilizers. They're not like MX style or Duroc type stabilizers. And then I need to lube like 105 switches for that thing. And then I also need to figure out, because what I want to do is cut the cable off and see if I can turn it into like a ported version of that keyboard, but it has a hub inside it, so I need to make sure that I do that correctly, which we'll see. I don't know if I'll be able to pull all that off, but I think it'll be cool. And then yeah, I don't know, I have a Vortex Race 3 that was like my original mechanical keyboard after the DOS Pro that really got me into this, and excited to rebuild that. So we'll see. I'm excited. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I was out last time because we're selling our condo and moving soon. So I'll keep you posted on the Discord whether or not I'll be streaming. I may be streaming more as well, just to kind of like pack in some client stuff, because I don't want to, a client's board to get stuck while I'm moving. That would not be fair. So I'll see where we end up on that. But yeah, I'll probably be moving mid to late August, I think. But we should be done with showings on the condo. So yeah, anyways, having said that, it was fun hanging out. I'm thinking about doing too, just like at some point, just sitting down and looking through like state of the union, like what's happening in the keyboard community, what are some new things coming out, just to kind of maybe put stuff on your radar if you're not as interested in following and combing through forums and stuff as I am. I think that'd be kind of fun to just have a chat, or even do stuff with viewers. Like if you're interested and want to chat with me on Discord, kind of do AMA, ask me anything kind of stuff, that might be fun too. But I'll keep shopping stuff as I have time. But anyways, yeah, this was an interesting build. Didn't mean to be like super negative and kind of dunking on it, but I don't know. I think there's some improvements that could be made. And like I said, I'll circle back on this if I manage to improve it via doing firmware updates or make it work with VIA or something like that. But anyways, I really appreciate your support. It's been great on YouTube. I've been having people chiming in the comments and either supporting what we're doing here or asking for help, which is always cool. I'm always welcoming people with questions. So yeah, I just appreciate you watching and appreciate the support. Yeah, that's it for me tonight. So I will see you next time.